Welcome everyone to this live webinar hosted by saasguru. Our topic for the next hour is managing merchandise in B2B commerce. Now, this is a second part of a webinar where we discuss B2B commerce. If you haven't watched the previous one, I highly recommend you do so, but we'll talk about that in a second. Now, first, if you are new to saasguru, what is saasguru? saasguru is the platform and community that supercharges your upskilling and certification for Salesforce and other software solutions. One of the most wonderful features that I very much love is the dashboard that gives you tailored, summarized, and gamified information about your progress. So it tells you what to focus on more, when are you ready for the exam, what to do. It tells you this is the next step, this is how far you've come. So it's very motivating and captivating, I would say. If you haven't looked at it yet, go see it the moment you activate a course. It will change for you and you see the best information there. The best part about saasguru is that it is community powered, where you can find content, classes like this one, mentoring project, and careers, all of this shared with experienced users and gurus just like me, who spend their time to provide you with support so that you can advance and upskill your and also reach better future employment. Now, the most important thing about the saasguru community is that you need to join the Slack community as soon as possible. It has more than 15,000 people. The link is in the chat. You'll find information like certification vouchers with the best discounts that are available. You'll find them in there. If you don't want to join now, join through the Slack link on your dashboard in saasguru afterwards. Also join the LinkedIn page, follow the company page for saasguru, where you'll find a lot of possibility to review the upcoming webinars, new information, and just communicate with people in the industry just like you. Another thing that you can find is 24/7 live help from gurus around the world. So if you have a question, you'll be able to find the answer or someone to support you and find the solution in the Slack community. So I highly recommend that, on top of all the product tips and updates and the live classes that you find in there. Now, if you're not yet in our Slack community, I'm going to show it to you really quickly. So first things first, if you are in your saasguru account, you have our dashboard that we talked about. At the very bottom of this menu, find the Slack community. You click and you access it immediately. You can also download the app to learn on the go. You'll find all of our mentorship information, live classes, mock exams, things like this. So what's in it for you in our Slack community? In the Slack community, you can ask for help, you can book a mentor, you can celebrate, find open jobs. I think yesterday we posted around 20 new jobs that are open and available. So there's a lot of information there and support. Don't miss it. It's where the party is, I promise that. So that's it for the Slack community. I hope I see you there, and send me a message after this class to let me know what's your feedback, and if you want more resources or just want to discuss something about B2B commerce, I'm in there too. Just as a reminder, download the app to learn from anywhere, and anywhere could be the kitchen, the couch, on your commute, while brushing your teeth, whatever floats your boat, makes you going with learning about Salesforce and other softwares. Just do it. It's really supportive and helpful and makes you feel much better than scrolling on Instagram, I promise. And today we have coupon code. This is my discount code for you, 20% off all saasguru certification courses. Use this code when you're buying the course and you'll get the discount. Now, about me, a little bit more about me and why am I here to talk to you about B2B commerce. My name is Diana. I'm Diana Koshedzhiyska. I'm based in Europe, Eastern Europe, and I work as a Salesforce enablement consultant. I am 9 times certified. I have a partner accreditation also. I'm very proud to be an All-Star Ranger. That's why I say gamification is wonderful, because it really got me there. I'm also a Salesforce certified instructor. specialized in training B2B commerce. So this is what makes me the person to be here in front of you. And apart from that, I'm a user enablement expert and saasguru mentor. I also mentor people through Trailblazer mentorship. Contact me on LinkedIn, follow me on the Trailblazer profile. I'd love to do that. And also contact me on the Slack community. You'll find me as Diana Koshedzhiyska because my surname is incomprehensible for most people, even here. So I'd love to hear more from you on LinkedIn. I'm constantly there. So let's talk about what are we going to talk in the next hour. That's our agenda. We're going to go with a very brief introduction to B2B commerce. What is it? Why should you focus on learning and creating skills for this product? What is the functionality available for merchandisers? And what are merchandisers actually in this B2B commerce world? We're going to look at some use cases. We're going to look at some demos. We won't go too much into that because that will be half a day, but still we're going to go and talk about the main things that you would do as a merchandiser. And then we're going to wrap up with a couple of steps, ideas. I have some order of execution lists that you can screenshot at the very end, so stay with me till the end. I think it will be worth it. Now, before we move on, please use the chat. Let me know what's your experience with B2B commerce. Have you had any B2B commerce experience or e-commerce, just so we can get this going. My goal for this class is that by the end of it, you'll be able to explain the main functionality available to merchandisers. So mostly what is your job as a merchandiser, especially in terms of managing buyers, products, and promotion with B2B commerce. And also you'll be able to identify some best practices for managing a store or multiple stores in the same org. So we'll talk more about that and how to approach things. First things first is, what is B2B Commerce Cloud? Well, this is the Salesforce e-commerce solution, part of Commerce Cloud. We have B2B, B2C, B2B2C solutions in there. It's targeted for wholesale and reseller partners. You can also create procurement web stores. Salesforce defines it as the industry-leading solution, and I would say that this is correct because the time to launch for a storefront can be 4 to 6 weeks. So you can very easily launch your B2B store and have it operating in less than 2 months, which is great time to market, I would say. A couple of things before we start, just so you're in the correct headspace. There are a couple of differences between a B2B commerce and B2C commerce solution, not just for Commerce Cloud, but everywhere. It's mainly users, scale, and payments. So users, when we're talking about B2B, these are customers that are known to us. We have a relationship with them. They're listed as accounts in our Salesforce org. B2C would usually work with multiple anonymous users. We don't know the people. Amazon doesn't know you personally. They have not contacted you to make you become their customer. So keep that in mind because the solutions that we're presenting to our users are different in B2B commerce, just based on that. Second thing is the scale. The number of visits is one thing. Think about Black Friday sales for B2C, which is not going to happen on B2B commerce. So the number of visits for B2B will be almost constant through the month, through the year. So you know how many logins each customer has, maybe 1 or 2 per month, things like this. The number of products per order is also something that is different. We've had thousands of line items in B2B commerce with thousands of quantities. So 100 of each line item is something that could be standard for B2B commerce. Whereas if you're buying something, you usually buy 1 or 2, just a couple. And the other thing for the scale is with B2B commerce, customers like to be able to reorder the same thing over and over again. And for payments, usually as a customer, you'd pay with your card, PayPal, Apple Pay, Google Pay, anything. But for B2B, you also have purchase orders. And why is this critical? This is critical for us to know because the B2B Commerce Cloud solution offers specific functionality to cover these differences. So this is why it's great. And it allows you to build a world-class solution for e-commerce. Now, The next thing I want to discuss is why should you learn this skill? Why is this critical? Why is this important to you? Well, first, it's available. It's freely available in any trial org, a Trailhead Playground, a developer org. You can enable commerce, right? You need to go and find in the help documentation a setup guide for B2B commerce. But once you set it up, it's great, it's wonderful. There is a growing market for B2B, B2B2C commerce implementations. This is when a standard B2B market decides to turn into direct to consumer. So they use their setup as B2B to grow and create a B2C solution. So very interesting options there on the market. I definitely recommend that you read about it. And the third thing that I would always say is B2B commerce helps you expand and grow your skills and knowledge on flows, because it's, especially for admins and developers, it's heavy on flows. Experience Cloud, because it's built on top of Experience Cloud, Experience Builder, Salesforce, CMS, and so much more. So it allows you to put that customer 360 view into really a specific use case and think about it. What can we attach to it? Service Cloud, yes. Sales Cloud, yes. Everything is built to work together. So that's a very short intro to B2B commerce. If you haven't met B2B commerce previously, I recommend that you start with the basics. We did a class in December, B2B Commerce Cloud for new Salesforce administrators. That will be shared in the chat in a couple of seconds with you. So bookmark this, watch that previous webinar. It talks about the basics. It talks about how the system is configured. What do you do as a Salesforce administrator? We watch a navigation demo there about the storefront, how to create a store. All of these things are covered in our previous webinar. Now, let's talk about you as a merchandiser. What does a merchandiser do for a B2B store? Now, what is merchandiser? What is administrator? What do they do specifically that's different? Now, previously we talked about admins, and they do the initial configuration of the org. Then they can create the store. They can do some configuration to the store. They can manage things like search indexing, do the design through the experience builder. There are a lot of things that you as an admin would do. What a merchandiser does is they manage products, pricing, customers, and promotions. So they do the marketing side of things. So you can think about merchandisers as the business people and admins as the technical people. There will be limited situations when the merchandisers will also want to do some tech stuff, like maybe create or update an element on the storefront with Experience Builder. These are use cases specific to each org. So we're going to talk about merchandisers as business people. They manage the marketing stuff, product pricing, promotion, and customers. Admins do everything else. Now, the top functionality is split in B2B commerce so that a merchandiser can access the store that they're responsible for and immediately go into the correct workspace to manage customers, products, pricing, and promotion. So this means that I can be a merchandiser for 3 of the 5 stores that my org has, or just one of those 5 stores. As a merchandiser, I would be responsible for ensuring that my customers, my users, have access to the correct sites and to the correct products for the correct pricing that they have agreed on or that is defined for them, and that any promotions will be scheduled so that they can make use of them and increase their customer lifetime value. Those are the main functionalities that are available. Now here is kind of like a cheat sheet for you to differentiate between what admins do, what merchandisers do. Remember, admins work in setup, do main configurations in the commerce app, and manage things through Experience Cloud and Experience Builder. For merchandisers, for buyers, we would identify who are our buyers, make sure that NDAs and contracts are signed, provide access to their users, and support. Then we will ensure that the products that the buyers will be purchasing are available for sale in the store, and are also available to them to buy. Same thing for pricing. The buyers will have a negotiated custom price that you need to ensure that is visible to them, and promotions are there to drive sales, increase engagement, and delight customers, of course. Now, if you have done some administration in the B2B Commerce app, you may have seen it. So now let's recap. When you enable commerce in your org, there will be a commerce app available through the app launcher. In it, you will find a couple of things that are critical. First thing is, from the navigation menu, you'll find stores, where each individual store will be listed, and you'll have access to only the stores that you're assigned to. When you click to open your store, let's see here, you have on the screenshot or B2B demo, you'll find a tiled menu, which is called the store administration. It's just the general administration. Each store has its own store administration where you can access things that are specific for the store. Best practice is that if you're managing multiple stores, you open the store administration for this specific store that you ensure, so that you ensure that everything is specifically dedicated for this one. That means categories, administration, content management, and all the workspaces that are important for you. From here, a couple of things that are important. Search is where you will be maybe or maybe not managing filters, searchable fields, sort order, and display order settings. If you think that this is your responsibility as a merchandiser, as a marketing person, that could be very well your responsibility. From here, you can also access content management to upload blog posts, news stories, visual content that you want to ensure it's there. That could be images for your products, attachments, things like this. So most important thing will be content management, potentially search. Categories will be critical also for managing the products in your store and ensuring that they're arranged correctly. And of course, the workspaces, we've seen them. We're going to talk about those workspaces in a little bit more detail too. Another thing that's important and you as a merchandiser might need to use from the Commerce app is a Commerce setup menu item. In that menu item, you would be configuring product variation configurations. So those are specific product types that we can talk about next time we talk about B2B Commerce. But the most important thing, as we said, for merchandisers is these 4 workspaces that allow you to directly manage the things that you're responsible for. Your buyers, your products, the price that they're going to pay, and any promotions that you want to add to the store. So here are a couple of use cases that we're going to look at. As I told you, we're going to review them just so it makes things clearer. As a merchandiser, you're informed that there is a new customer that will be given access to the storefront that you're managing. So storefront is the store that you have. It is your responsibility to ensure that they can access the store, purchase the products as agreed on in the contract that they signed. So keep that story in mind when we're discussing through the next slides, because that would be critical. So here are a couple of things. You have your customer. Your customer is an account because we're B2B, so it's not people that are the direct customers. So this account would need to be created as turned into a buyer account, which we're going to see how it looks in a couple of seconds. And once that buyer account is generated, you will have to assign them to a buyer group. A buyer group is a junction object that connects the buyer account to the correct store, prices through price books, and entitlement, meaning the products that they should be allowed to see. So in order for your customer to have access to the store, they need to be assigned to this buyer group. And the buyer group connects to all of the other objects. But it's not just relevant that the customer, like the account, is added, because an account cannot access a store. In order for someone to access a store, you need to have a contact that's related to the account, and a user is created on that contact record. All this happens only after the buyer account is activated. So if if your team reaches out to you and says, hey, we have this customer, we want to give them access to our store. We have one store, let's say. What you're going to do is you're going to ask who will be their buyer user, so that you can activate the account as a buyer account and then activate the user as a buyer user and provide access for them to the store and to the experience. So let's see how that looks in real life. Here is my demo org. Let's open an account record. So we have this account record. This is a standard account record. And you can see here in the top, you have enable as buyer would be something when will be an action button that's available in the highlights panel, maybe even down below. Once you activate commerce in your org, it looks like a standard account record. Not much is in there. Their contact record is also a standard contact record. You can enable the customer user. So these are just the standard account and contact. However, once you enable them as a buyer account, you see that button disappears. We can then disable as buyer down below. You get some buyer account information that is now listed and available on their account record. It would be their buyer account name, the type, are they buyer, are they seller, reseller, are they active, suspended, pending, things like this. You find credit related information, payment and tax details, but also you find then who are their community members, so the people from this company that have access to your experiences and to your storefronts, contact point addresses, which is billing and shipping, default or maybe multiple, depending on how the company operates. You'll also be able to see information about their cards. So you find all of this information on the account record as soon as you activate them as a buyer account. Once you activate them as a buyer account, you'll assign them to a buyer group, which is this buyer group. A buyer group is a junction object that connects price books, accounts as buyer group members, entitlement policies, and stores. So it is the main driver for what the customer can see, which store they can access, which products they can see, which the entitlement policy is defined, and what price will they be paying for this. A lot of times when you're troubleshooting, the first place to start is by identifying is your buyer group successfully and correctly configured for this account. If they're not able to see products or specific pricing, this would be the starting point. So after you create your buyer account, you create them as a buyer, you add them to the correct buyer group, and you can have multiple accounts in the same buyer group, but an account can only be part of one buyer group. Now, we've seen the account record. Let's look at the contact record. This contact record is now enabled as a buyer. You can see you can log into the experience as user. So a user was created for them. Not much is different here except for the login to experience as user. So this is a button that allows you to log into the storefront and experience it just as that contact record. If they ask you to troubleshoot or to maybe put some things in their cart for them, and then they're going to go in and pay afterwards. This happens, especially with service. People go and I would like to buy this, this, and that. Could you ensure that I have it? And then they just go and they purchase it and complete the purchase with a purchase order. Or maybe your team could be allowed to complete the purchase with a purchase order. So we've looked at a buyer group. Let's talk about the buyer group, the products. What is needed so that the customer, the account user from the contact can actually see some specific products in the store. Because as we said, you manage customers, you manage products, pricing, and promotion. So in order for a customer to see a product in the storefront, your responsibility as a merchandiser is to ensure that this product is part of the catalog that's assigned to the store. A store can have only one catalog, And in that catalog, you will include products through categories. So when you're managing the categories, you have them added to a specific catalog that's for the store. One catalog can be assigned to multiple stores, which is very good when you're managing a B2B2C, where you want the same products, like all of your products, to be visible in both stores. So that's a very good thing. But it's not just enough that a product is part of the store catalog. That would not make it available to the customer per se. There are also two other things that need to be happening. You need to ensure that the product is part of an entitlement policy that is assigned to the customer's buyer group, and that there is a price book entry for it in the buyer group's price book. So B2B commerce is built on a lot of junction objects that connect the customer to the product through the store. So you see a lot of moving parts here, but in order for a product to be visible in the store for a specific customer, we need to first ensure that the product is part of the store catalog, then ensure that there is a price book entry for this in the customer's buyer group price book, and that the product is assigned in the entitlement policy for the buyer group. A lot of moving parts. But as I promised, I'm going to share the order of execution for you afterwards, just so you have it additionally as a reminder. So let's see how this works. So we talk about how do we make a product visible in the storefront, right? So we talked about that it needs to be added to the catalog, it needs to be added to the price book as price book entries. You might have worked with price books when working with CPQ or something else. So I want to show you something that's called entitlement policy. So commerce entitlement policies are the drivers in B2B commerce for what your customer can see as products and what they can purchase. So entitlement policies define which products is the customer able to buy. Maybe they signed a contract where they're only interested in half of your products, or let's say you're selling coffee and coffee machines. That's a very good example. They're only going to be buying coffee, not coffee machines. So you want to ensure that they have access only to the coffee. What you can do is you can add that to a coffee only entitlement policy, where only the coffee products are visible and available for purchase to the customer. You can also create something where, like a second entitlement policy, where all the other products are visible, but the prices are hidden, so the customer cannot add them to the cart. How do you manage that? The entitlement policy record is where you go. And here you see in the details, you have name description, you mark it as active or inactive, depending on if you need it. But there are two checkboxes, which when you're creating an entitlement policy, one is a checkbox, another is a toggle switch. So just keep that in mind. The two main things here that you need to keep in mind is the view products. Is the basic configuration, means that this customer is allowed to see these products. Then the second one, view prices in catalog, actually means that this customer is not only allowed to see the prices, but add them to cart, add these products to the cart and purchase them. So in our use case, all of the coffee products will be with view products, view prices in catalog, because the customer needs to be able to purchase them. And in the other situation where we want to have the coffee machines visible but not able to be purchased, maybe you want to entice the customer to sign another contract to start buying coffee machines from us, then we'll only check this view products and leave view prices in catalog unchecked. Okay, so this is how entitlements work. In the related tab, you have the option to include the products. We have my products and buyer groups. So any questions on setting up the entitlements and ensuring that a customer can see a product in the catalog? Go back to my very easy flowcharts, right? Just remember, there are three things in the buyer group apart from the account. All of these three things need to contain, three elements need to contain adjunction object to the product. So a product entitlement policy, price book entry for the product, and the product needs to be in a category that's part of the store's catalog. So junction objects, a lot of moving parts. Good. We did the second demo. Now, I have prepared for you a couple of use cases that might be interesting to think about the solution, what would be a good solution for them, because to go in depth into creating accounts, converting them to buyer accounts, creating products, adding them to entitlement policy, that would be a couple of hours. So let's focus on the main thing. Remember, as a merchandiser, your job is to ensure that your customers have access to the correct store where they're provided visibility and pricing for the correct products. These are the main things that you're managing, plus creating promotions for Commerce Cloud. So here is our first use case. You are the merchandiser for a tech reseller company that sells laptops, desktop computers, office furniture, and accessories, right? So we have a lot of different types of products, different categories. You have a new customer, Universal Containers, that just signed a contract to buy laptops and desktop computers from you, but not furniture and accessories. So one of the things that we can do is, we're going to approach it is, first, we're going to assign the customer to a buyer group. Let's name it laptop and desktops only. Then assign that buyer group to your store so that they have access to the correct store. We're going to create an entitlement policy named laptop and desktops only, just so we have the correct products in there. And that policy will have C product and C prices in catalog. And then we're going to assign the policy to the buyer group. Or also, we can leave out price book, because if there's no custom price book, the standard price book for the store will apply. There is no mention of a custom price for this customer. An extra tip for you that you can go the extra mile is you can create an entitlement policy for all other products, so accessories and furniture, and the entitlement policy will have the configuration C product, but not C prices in catalog. That will show the products and the categories in the navigation menu, and maybe will entice the customer to come back for sales negotiation, to sign an extra contract, to start buying these things from them. Okay, let's go for a second use case. We have a customer that raised a ticket that they cannot see a certain product in the storefront. You see that the product is included in the entitlement policy of the customer's buyer group. So how would you approach troubleshooting in this case? So you're a merchandiser, the customer says that I can't see this in the storefront, it's part of their entitlement policy, so what would we do? We're going to go back to this slide and see we have the customer and their buyer group, it's the correct entitlement policy. So how would we go back? We're going to assume that the store has a standard price book, and the product is in the price book. So what we're going to do is we're going to check if this product is part of the store catalog. So check if it's part of a category that's part of the store's catalog. A product can be part of multiple categories, can be part of multiple catalogs. It can be visible in multiple stores, that's not a problem. And an extra tip that I would give you, but a little bit more advanced, is to check with the admin for the B2B Commerce in your org if the search index has been rebuilt since you last created the product or updated things about the product and fields, just to ensure that it's visible when they search for it. Now, let's look at some step-by-step scenarios, which is the order of execution, and then I'm going to show you the promotion configuration in B2B Commerce. I think you'll have the time for 5 minutes of demo because it's interesting and it's one of the newer functionalities that were released and constantly being updated. So I think it's great for you as a merchandiser to know that promotion is there and has to be set up in a specific way. Now you can take screenshots of these because they're very good, they're very valuable. So if you want to give a customer access to some products, you have to enable their account record as buyer, add contact point addresses, so shipping and billing, so that they can purchase things and have them shipped somewhere. These are general for the account. These are not specific for the contact record. Then you're going to create a buyer group if there is not one that you can already use. Assign the account to the buyer group, assign the store to the buyer group if it's a new one, assign the price book to the buyer group also if it's a new one, and the entitlement policy if you have one. And then you have to enable the contact as a user to ensure that they have access with the correct community license or experience license to the correct experience and store. Now, another order of execution, when you want to ensure product is visible on the store, these are the 6 steps that you would approach. Create a product record with details and media. There are different product classes, creating products. Maybe we can do a product workshop next time. Assign the product to the category. Make sure that the category is part of the store catalog. Add the standard price book entry. This is standard for Salesforce. They need you to have a standard price book entry that's not used anywhere. Add a price book entry for the store price book or for the buyer group price book or for both. Add the product to the entitlement policy. Ensure that the configuration is correct. And ensure that the customer buyer group is assigned to the store. So these are the steps for you as a merchandiser to ensure that the products that you have will be visible on the store for your customers. Again, take a screenshot if you want. And another one that we have is how to create a promotion. And this one I'm going to demonstrate to you. So we have a promotion workspace. All the workspaces is where you as a merchandiser go to manage stuff. In that promotion workspace, we're going to create a promotion record, set the dates, mark that it's active, and most importantly, a commerce promotion so that it's visible in the commerce store. This is the thing that most people forget to check and then wonder why it's not visible in the store. Define if a promotion is manual or automatic. If you want coupon codes, it will be a manual promotion. Create and assign a segment, so who will receive the promotion, who is entitled to get the promotion, what is the discount that they're going to get, what are the qualifiers, so you only get this in case you do this. So if you, then yes. If you do this, then yes, you're going to get the promo. And of course, if it's a manual promo, create a coupon code. And because I love promotions, I'm going to go and quickly show you how to create the promotion through the promotion workspace. Now, I'd like to mention that promotions have been live as a functionality for probably a year. So let's go to our store B2B demo. We said let's follow best practices. We start with our store administration. We scroll down and we find our workspaces as merchandisers. We go to promotions, and this will show us all the promotions for our store. You see all B2B demo promotions, a list view was created for us. So we're going to create a new one here. We create a new promotion, we give it a name, live demo, we can give it a description, an objective, a campaign, we can connect it to a campaign if we're using campaigns to track information. Most important part for me is to click active, and you need commerce promotion. These two are critical. The next thing that you would need is a display name. So what do the customers see in the checkout cart when they make use of that promotion? That's it. Welcome to saasguru promo. We're going to skip everything else. And then we have to scroll down to the schedule part. We're going to set that it's starting from the 10th of February and it will run until the 10th of March. So we have a start date and end date. And then we can choose things like, is it automatic? Maximum applications per card, the standard is 1, can be applied multiple times. Usually we'll keep it at 1. So we're going to leave automatic unchecked because I want to show you how to create a coupon code. Otherwise, we won't be able So basically here you set the name, information, active and commerce promotion will be critical. You can also add that afterwards, like just prepare it, then click save, and you have the promotion record in front of you. I see a question I'm going to answer, just let's finish the demo. And as we said, we had the promotion details were just specified. Then we have our segments. Our segments are who is allowed to get this promotion. So if it's an automatic promotion, the moment that everything else is met, these segments will have access to it. So the thing is, you need to create a promotion segment, even if it's all customers of this store, right? You need to have this. So you click add promotion segment, create a new one, or use the one, for example, here I have all customers of B2B demo store. I have created that previously. We're not going to go into it, but you can create buyer groups. You can select buyer groups as part of that segment. You can customize it. And we just create a junction object here, which you can see. Here's my segment. That's predefined. You can choose the stores, so everyone in this store, or only these specific buyer groups. That's how we define our segment. Then you have discounts. Discounts will be something like what is the target. So you can say, if you buy this product, or if you buy products from this category, or if you select this order delivery method, like this is a new functionality just released, to be honest. But usually you can say products in my coffee beans category will be there. Then you have a target type or adjustment type. You can say this is the percentage discount that I want to give, or they're going to get a $100 off. You can do things like if the, let's say a target type could be also a transaction. So if the transaction is above $1,000 or $10,000, then they will get this fixed price discount. Here you can see you have the adjustment percent, adjustment amount, so discount by 10%, for example, or discount by $100, depending on your adjustment type. This is what you're going to see. And then you have the quantity limit, how many products can receive this discount. It could be unlimited, especially if it's a total fixed price like we have here, or a fixed price, or it could be only 3 products will get this discount. I'm going to click save, as it has to be percentage, and let me just close this one because I wanted to show you multiple things. Qualifiers is where you're gonna go and say only these people and only in this case. So you can have only if they purchase a specific product, they're going to get this discount, or only if they purchase products from this specific category can they get discount. So if you buy a laptop, you can get a discount for the accessories like a mouse and a keyboard. This is what the qualifiers are. And coupons is where you have just the opportunity to create your coupon code. So this is what customers will see. Let's say my coupon code for this training for saasguru is Diana 20. So this is one. You can add a description so that you know internally what is it for. I would say 20% of all courses in saasguru. And you can change it to active or inactive, and it depends on you. You can have multiple coupon codes that are active through different periods of the promotion. You have scheduling so that they start being active on the 10th and end being active a month afterwards. So you can control this too, so that the coupon code has a start and end date. It could be a month-long promotion. Only for 10 days, you have this coupon code. Then for another 10 days, you have the other coupon code. There are a lot of things that you can do, or you can have multiple coupon codes simultaneously. And there's this new tiers section where you can create a tiered promotion, which we're gonna skip for now because that becomes way too advanced. But these are the steps that I recommend you take when creating a promotion. Now I see Another question, do we need any special system configuration to use omnichannel inventory with B2B Commerce, or just enabling omnichannel can do the job? All of the integrations will be configured by your developers and confirmed by the B2B store admin. So definitely there will be a special configuration. It will be an Apex class that needs to be written, maybe connected through a flow, but I'm not a developer. I'm not the best equipped person to answer that question in details, but we can discuss that also afterwards in Slack, and I'll share with you some resources that are very valuable. And for you that joined a bit late, the recording will be available, I think, both on YouTube and from the saasguru dashboard. If you go to saasguru and you go to live classes, you can find the live class that you signed up for. It will be now listed under previous classes. That's where you'll find under that same name. Currently, it's probably in all or upcoming. You'll find it in the previous classes and also in your registered classes. And you'll be able to see also there the previous B2B Commerce Cloud for new Salesforce admins, which I recommend so that you build the information for both of them. Good. As always, you can reach out to me on Slack. I'll be happy to report and to reply and help you find the correct resources. I do enjoy working with B2B Commerce a lot. There's constantly something that's coming up, something new. Thank you too. So what's next? If you want to do something more, I have a special B2B Commerce Cloud trail mix that I try to keep up to date. This is the link for it that you can take it. This is where you'll find on Trailhead all of the relevant content, all of the related modules for you. I recommend that you create your own trial work, activate B2B Commerce Cloud and configure your own store and play with it. How to configure it, there is on the Salesforce help page. If you search for Commerce Cloud, you'll find the setup guide, and there are a couple of different setup guides that are available there to you. They don't go in depth about creating integrations like tags or anything, but you can create your own store. You can start playing with buyer groups, entitlements, making your store pretty, seeing how things work. There is trial data, demo data that you can use, and all of these things. Definitely watch our previous webinar about B2B Commerce for admins. It gives you the basics about it. And credential I would recommend, if you want to work in the B2B Commerce sphere, go and study Experience Cloud, because B2B Commerce is built very heavily on top of Experience Cloud, and knowing how to manage Experience Cloud means that you know how to manage B2B Commerce. You're halfway there. Okay, so it makes it a lot easier because you have CMS, you have Experience Builder, you have all those things that are critical for you if you, as a merchandiser, communicate with customers and want to ensure that you don't make mistakes as enabling them for the incorrect store, things like this. So that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed this intro, let's call it intro to merchandising functionality. It definitely has a lot of content that we can go in depth into, but that's the most we can do for an hour. So yes, let me know if I can help you anymore.